You coming? Coming? Hello, hello, hello. Mila, you coming? Hi, everyone. I'm trying to get Mila to come over here. Come on, come sit with baby. There you go. Come sit with Flopsy. Hi, everyone. Oh, yes, I acknowledge you. Hello. Let's say hello to our guest, shall we, Mila? Lacey Cole. 3 hellos. Lisa Shift. Hello, hello. Jules Deramore, hello. Sandra Clementes. Christine Kahn, beautiful name. Jane Barnash, hi. Fran Bishop, hello from Ohio. Jay in Harlem, beautiful part of the world, hello. Beautiful Whimsy. Barack Obama and Prince. Oh, that would be fun. Bobby Vox, hi. Noelle is here. She's the star of the show. Treat her right. She is the monitor extraordinaire. We want her to be very happy. Hello to Blake Aquatics. Wandering Eyes is back, and Song to Sing, Ola from Tejas. Impish Artist back again. The Land of the Bronze Fawns. Ooh, I got to check out where that is. Phyllis Rowan. Hello, and Nancy, Ola from Texas. Texas is there's some interesting energy around Texas in the 2020 election. Ugh. Wayne Dillard, hello. Peggy, Cheryl, Lisa. Oh, it's going so fast. I'm trying to say hi to everybody. House of Lennerman, Jan, Peggy. Oh, Peggy Green is here. Hello, Peggy. Felwyn, Stephen. Oh, and we have another moderator, Bosi Ozigbe. Hello from Texas. Carla Ruthford, Barbara Young, Lisa Schlitt. Yes, I'm going to take a few minutes to say hi to everybody. Courtney, hello. Chatty Cathy is back. Sherry Lane. Halo Boy. Is that Halo? Halo Boy? Roni, Sharon Lee. Okay, so we'll keep saying hi as we go. Another happy person from Texas, Leslie Bacon. So listen, I did some remotes last night. I'll go wherever people want me to go, but thank you. It is becoming increasingly obvious to the GOP, based on the remote I did last night, that this presidency is over. Regardless of what the polls are saying now, regardless of what the president is saying now, I still stand by the original remote that he's moving towards impeachment in the House. What's changed is possibly the timeline. We could see a resignation as early as February of 2020. Because of this aspect to the remote that feels like public humiliation, it's one thing to humiliate him for 2-3 months with all the stations broadcasting public hearings showing the extent to which he has done bad things to the world, and then to see the rising protest for impeachment that are going to start happening outside the White House, but then to turn it into a formal Senate hearing. And currently it's a 50-50 split in the Senate, because they've got 3 Republicans that are ready to split. And then to put pressure, you don't want at that point, the GOP has to have a private conversation with the president and ask him to take one for the team and resign, because they can't guarantee he won't be, that the American people won't demand some kind of prosecution of some type. That's basically. So, yay, God, hurry. So I just want to check in with the rest of the remote viewers. For people who are trying to learn the heart-centered remote viewing technique, you can go to my playlist where I explain the 5-step technique. Those people who are heart-centered remote viewers, I don't know if any of you did a remote last night, but it's not looking too good for this presidency. Particularly when you tune in to somebody like Lindsey Graham. He can't. It's gotten to the point where nobody can help this president. That's basically what I see. So we're going to go ahead and do what we always do at the beginning of the week. Let me go ahead and document everything. This is November 4th, 2019. And we're going to go ahead and just feel what's going on with the impeachment, the White House, etc. We'll do a simple prayer just to protect everybody and ask permission from Spirit to go in. And then after that, we'll open up the floor to anybody and everybody. And we'll do a blitz. I also did a remote last night again on the royal family, and I was again trying to sit in the shoes of the Queen, and I got more of the view that as the Queen, here is what I'll speak in as if I'm her to describe how it feels, because I know people get a little confused with heart-centered remote viewing. So this is what I'm feeling. I feel that I did everything in my power to create reforms starting in, certainly during World War II and into the 50s and 60s to try and encourage more cultural diversity and more of an expanded view of what women could and couldn't do. So I hoped I did it in a way that was, I teach by example. If you see me doing it, whether it's, fixing a car or inviting certain people to Buckingham Palace that, so that's part of it, is that this attempt to reform simply by showing or demonstrating rather than lecturing, that seems to have failed. I didn't think that the community was this. I thought we had gotten further along than we obviously have. The other thing I feel is just unbelievably embarrassed that this is an American who is a guest in our home. She's been welcomed into our home. We have historically had, certainly since World War II, we've had a solid relationship with our allies, the Americans, and to have it turn out like this, it reflects badly on my home. It reflects badly on my manners. It reflects badly on my community. It reflects badly on my leadership. It's very embarrassing. And it speaks very, very badly about my family. And it gives the impression that my family is somehow in on this, or that we approve of this, which we don't. And there was a period when I was resisting this idea of them moving, and I knew that it was going to be difficult for her. I knew it was going to be difficult for Meghan. And we did, not because, it's not coming from a place where I think I'm better than anyone else, but there's a learning curve. And if you haven't grown up in this community, we understand that it's going to be very, very difficult to learn. And so we try to make those resources available, but we didn't, naively perhaps, we didn't anticipate this kind of opposition. So yes, at first, I resisted the idea of a move, and now I think it might be for the best. if the situation doesn't improve, because quite frankly, I don't know how I can help at this point. Never explain, never complain, show by example, but that doesn't seem to be helping at this point. But yeah, the fact that she's been driven out is an embarrassment, absolutely. Yeah, those are the feelings I have sitting in the Queen's shoes. Is there anything else? I would say, yeah, I sat also in Meghan Markle's shoes, and I was financially independent, and I was a California girl. We have the highest divorce rate in the country. LA girls don't put up with this. I know, I'm an LA girl. We're out the door. I don't need you. We're self-reliant. So, sitting in Meghan Markle's shoes, I'm out of here. I'm taking off. I don't need this. The only thing that's anchoring me, that's causing the mental health challenges, is the fact that I'm concerned I won't be able to get my, how do I leave and take my kid with me? So when it got to that point that I had basically decided I'm gone, I'm out of here, that is when everybody snapped out of it. Because I'll tell you something about being in Meghan Markle's shoes. She's not going to put up with this. She'll get on the plane, she'll go to New York, and she'll hang out with her friends and do yoga. And it's a message to the powers that be that she's not going to put up with this. The only way that they could get her to stay at this point is if they tried to hold her son hostage. She's earned plenty of money. She will have no trouble getting more acting work if she wants it. She really doesn't need them for anything. That's how she feels. All right, let's go ahead and do a simple prayer. Crazy, huh? Archie looks strange. He looks beautiful. And it's very sad the family's being put through this. And we'll send a prayer to Angry Rabbit. She needs a prayer also. No, not like albino. Let me explain something to people who don't have medical training. We have cells on our skin, they're called melanocytes, and they don't get stimulated until you're exposed to the sun. So there's no reason for Archie to be born. When you're in uterus, you don't need to, your melanocytes are not activated in the uterus. They're activated after there's exposure to the sun. So stupid people who say, well, the baby was born white, it's an embarrassment. This is why Queen Elizabeth is so humiliated and embarrassed. First off, it reflects badly on the quality of education of the Brits, that they don't even have basic science education. It's humiliating. They're blabbering with a 4th grade education, screaming that the baby's a fake baby. I mean, can you imagine being the queen of people like that? How humiliating it would be to you, particularly if you've dedicated your life to trying to educate and bring people into the 20th and 21st century to have more progressive ideas about women, diverse communities. So the queen's humiliated and embarrassed, but just the basic lack of knowledge of this is science that should have been taught. I remember learning about embryology in the 5th grade. So, what's happening to the education system in Britain that I thought it was bad in the United States, but so that's what the Queen thinks. Sorry. All right, let's do a prayer. Sorry if I offended the Brits, but it's embarrassing. Really embarrassing. I want to call on white light protection for myself and my viewers as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and wisdom to empower our viewers and ourselves so that we can make the best decisions for ourselves, for the people we love, for the planet, and even for the people we don't always agree with. And with that, I say amen. All right, we're going to go in and look at the politics. Hello, House of Lenormand. Blessings, blessings. A little bit of an update. We've done very well in raising funds for the move to Australia. If you would like to participate in helping Michael and I get together in Australia, we are selling t-shirts. The t-shirts say, "I am my beloved and my beloved is mine." And you can find information about how to purchase one of these beautiful t-shirts in the description below. And Michael has created the t-shirt so that it exists in 3D also. And he created it to attract true love. So hopefully for the person who wears it, they will be able to bring love in their life. All right. Spirit, tell us what's going on with the Trump presidency and what's going to be going on in the week ahead. Where we are at right now, a new phase is starting. Oh, thank you, Cindy. Let me know where you want the money to be donated. You can see a page of wands is moving in as the base, and that suggests that the pilgrim begins his journey. It often is a spring card, and it suggests that a new beginning or new phase in the investigation may be happening, and you can see a 3 of Cups or a celebration. I think what's happening, I don't see how the GOP can save this president at this point. The taxes are released. The Supreme Court, I did a remote viewing. I tried to connect with Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She basically couldn't justify the case even going to the Supreme Court because she felt that a lot of this stuff was pretty much obvious in terms of the powers of Congress, and probably she'll uphold SDNY. I just don't know how this president is going to survive, quite frankly. And I don't think that Lindsey Graham, it's becoming increasingly obvious to people that it's over. Where we are at right now, disagreements, exchange of ideas, people are basic, the Five of Wands is about exchange of ideas. It doesn't necessarily mean fighting, but they may not be in agreement. There's Trump. Everywhere he goes, every time you see his energy, every time you go into a remote, you see fighting. He's the blob in Star Trek. He always brings arguments. He always brings conflict. He's always the center of it. What is above an offer or Ace of Cups is love, benefactor, grace. It's somebody who brings a love or healing or an offer. What sits below, 10 of Cups, happy home, past placement. There's a star card coming with an offer. Some kind of gracious offer is coming. Some person coming here giving, and I think this is Schiff. I think that this is a very unpleasant energy that I think it's going to get very dark from now till February. It's also a time of deep study, contemplation. There's an academic aspect to this, and that this is running its course. Hopes and fears, the pain of the nation, the stress, the fear. There's a real fear about where this is going, and a real fear regarding what the GOP may have gotten themselves into. There's a feeling like they're digging themselves deeper and deeper into a situation that could be disastrous for them in 2020. They can see the writing on the wall and they don't know how to get out of it. It keeps talking about some kind of an offer or some kind of something is going to happen to try and create peace in this situation and to smooth out the hostilities. This reminds me of the remote viewing we did on Halloween, where we tried to connect with the energy of Abraham Lincoln, and the feeling we kept getting when we went into the Abraham Lincoln energy was calm down, stop the rhetoric, stop calling each other evil. You're moving towards civil war. I don't want anyone to die, right? Cooler heads will prevail. Calm down. Come together as a nation. It's that kind of a feeling when you see all these beautiful, loving cards coming in. This leads me to think that if the source of the conflict is Trump and the nation is moving towards healing, then he'll have to be removed, because the nation chooses peace. The nation chooses the Ace of Cups and the Benefactors card. They may even agree to just let him go peacefully. Let him go peacefully in order to avoid civil unrest. That's the best way that I would interpret these cards. Fear of being honed in or trapped, grief, a judgment coming, a smooth way out of there. I think, again, it keeps saying the same thing, that an offer possibly will be coming to this president to leave, and that decision is made in order to avoid civil unrest. That's the best way for me to describe it. And I think that it's gotten to the point where it's increasingly obvious that this presidency cannot be saved. I think that was the main takeaway I took from the meditation I did last night. Okay, we now have a little bit of time, so let's go ahead and do a blitz. What do y'all want to do? I am here for you. Whatever you want. Trump might cut a deal. Yeah, Noel. I think that's exactly what's going on. I think that they're being very gracious with him. This has happened before. Remember when I had said that Mueller always gets his man, and that the thing that drives Mueller is, I want a full signed, sealed confession in exchange for immunity? And then they said the Mueller report was coming back, and the Roger Stone case is going to trial, and Flynn is about to be sentenced. So none of that can happen. And now they're releasing all of the notes of Mueller. Mueller has to come back. Mueller has to testify. If nothing else, in some of these trials and cases, he'll probably be called back. So it's not that this presidency isn't over. That's not the feeling. The feeling is the presidency is over. How do we get him out of there without causing civil war? So we've moved the goalpost, so to speak. Prince Harry's lawsuit, I don't see them staying. If at first the Queen, when I sat in the Queen's energy, I was upset and I spoke to Charles about it. We did everything we could. I say it as if I'm her, because that's how a remote works. We did everything we could. I feel terrible, quite frankly. I feel, we did a lot to try and ease. We knew it was going to be a difficult transition. We did everything we could in order to make things easier for her. But we just didn't anticipate this kind of, It's bad. She can't stay at this point. And at this point, it's a question of mental health, not just for her, but for her husband as well. And he's a really simple guy, Harry. I mean, he really is attracted to life in Africa. He feels more home there than Britain. He wants to teach and he wants to be involved in building infrastructure and education. He's better suited to being in Africa. He's a teacher. He doesn't want to be a royal. He wants to be a teacher. He wants to be part of the community, part of the change. He wants to use the fact that he was lucky enough to have a decent education. He feels that he's a moral responsibility to share his good fortune with others. He doesn't think that he got a great education because he's better than anybody else. He thinks he was fortunate and he has a moral responsibility to share it. All right. Let's look at Elizabeth Warren. Buttigieg is pushing to be VP. Did you see his interview on ABC? Come on, it's you and me. That's what he said. It's you and me, Elizabeth. He's trying to create some kind of alliance with her. That's what I think. All right, you guys also want Barr? I can do that. You want me to access his records? You know, I didn't see Pence serving a long term, so who knows what that's about. All right, what's going to be with Elizabeth Warren? I honestly don't know. It does feel to me, I want to say one more thing quick about the Queen. It feels like she does have to give permission for them to take Archie out. There's some kind of, that's the resistance, and I think that the Queen's going to probably let them leave. I think she does have something to say about it. Elizabeth Warren, now going into that energy, she is getting a lot of support. It feels to me like a lot of people left other campaigns and now they're going and they're doubling down on Elizabeth Warren. So this is interesting. I also had good feelings about Klobuchar. Klobuchar could have been the VP. And the good thing about Klobuchar is that she is from Minnesota and she's a Blue Dog Democrat. Another good Blue Dog ticket would have been Buttigieg and Klobuchar, or Biden and Klobuchar. Would have been a nice Blue Dog ticket if you're looking for moderates. Elizabeth would be happy with a VP position because then she would be able to vote in the Senate if you had a 50-50 split, and so she would still retain her vote in the Senate. So there's a lot of advantage to Warren being VP rather than president because of her ability to still shape policies in the Senate. So there's that aspect to why she would be well positioned as a VP. There's a lot here talking about her inheritance or the structure of the campaign, that she's building it brick by brick. But the other feeling about the Warren campaign is that she's building a slow and steady foundation. I don't feel any fighting between her and Bernie. In fact, quite the opposite. They give each other advice a lot in terms of the kind of campaign they're structuring. They don't attack each other, but they do occasionally talk about the challenges of running the campaign and how they're making the campaigns work. There are rumors There are rumors and gossip that are going to start to come up for Elizabeth Warren, and it's going to be a challenge how she handles them because some of them are going to be quite bad. You can see she's entering into a time of gossip and defending herself. So this is something that happens a lot with female candidates. They get a lot more gossip, bizarre gossip, quite frankly, than I think the male candidates do. So there's going to be a little bit of pushback from some kind of gossiping that's happening. She could win the presidency or at the very least VP. Her final outcome is 10 of Cups. I'm worried about attacks from the outside, crazy. This is the problem with super PACs and foreign money is because now the business and the corporate world has more power than the American government to shape policy, and that's a little scary. Well, thank you, Patrick. Just let me know where you'd like me to donate the money. Thank you. She will falter. They're going to start to do a little bit of, they're going to start coming after her the way they came after Hillary Clinton. It's going to be a very, very contentious attack. You can see the Five of Cups, grieving loss, walking away. This is going to get really violent really quickly in terms of the attack. She's going to really be thrown for a loop. You can see the moon card coming in. I don't see Pete Buttigieg having to deal with as much of this. None of the male candidates are dealing with this the way that she's going to be dealing with this. And that concerns me because obviously she's a threat to the business world because she wants to tax them. But yeah, she's going to get hit pretty hard. I think she can still win though. All right. Yes, we like her. Klobuchar is not protecting our environment in Minnesota. She's a blue dog. She's a blue dog. She's basically a Republican classic. All right. People had asked me to get to Bernie Sanders. Barr. Somebody, what was that? Oh, Beto. Remember when I had done a remote viewing on Beto O'Rourke and I said that he needed to stay in Texas because things were going to get crazy in Texas and that he would be better suited to being the governor of Texas or a senator from Texas and that he would be more useful to the Democrats working in local politics? Does everybody remember that remote on Beto O'Rourke? He needs to stay in Texas. That's one of the reasons why he got out. He can do a presidential bid in another 10, 12 years, but right now, they really want to see if they can flip Texas, and that means that Beto O'Rourke needs to focus on flipping that state. Mouse Maiden. The mudslinging, I agree. Jared. Let's see if we can do Jared. Elizabeth is strong, but they're going to pull the same stuff they did before, and it concerns me. Ah, God, it's just such a mess. Yeah, Kamala Harris is going to start backing another candidate. I saw her leaving. Remember when we did a remote and we saw Kamala Harris running out of money? That seems to have happened. Now she wants, but Kamala Harris will probably side with Biden because I think she dated Biden's son, if I'm not mistaken. So she's very close to the Biden family. Bolton flip? Yeah, I think Bolton's going to flip. Let's go ahead and look at Barr now. I can never get in with Barr. When I try to do a remote, you ask permission and he says, let me do my job. Remember that? I can't get into Barr very easily. Let's take a look. It's going to be with Barr. It's his worst nightmare because Mueller is back in the news again. It's like Mueller didn't show his cards. Now Mueller's cards are coming out, and I still see Mueller involved in these future prosecutions. He's right there. There's Barr. He's negotiating. He gets his wish regarding an offer. Remember how I had said that if anybody was going to try and talk to the president about taking offers on the table or talking with Mueller or working something out with the FBI, that was one of the things that Barr said he would be able to do. He's going to try and work out some kind of offer regarding benevolence, star card, and then Mueller. So I think that his job is to try and smooth land, give an offer with this president. At this point, they're trying, look at this, offers. They're trying to avoid civil war. They're trying to avoid a violent transition. They're trying to avoid stock market crashing, financial crashes. And I think he's going to have to resign because he fears prosecution himself. The flee card, fleeing. Barr's going to leave. He certainly won't stay for the next administration. If he does, it's something's going on behind the scenes, or Congress would be a lot harder on Barr. The reason why Congress is not as hard on Barr as it could be is because something's going on behind the scenes we're not aware of. Okay, let's look at Pompeo. What is going on with Pompeo? The power of malignant narcissists. They can get us to do all kinds of things. Kavanaugh removed. I can check that. Long live Whimsy. Thank you, Willem. Very kind. I feel bad when I go into Pompeo's energy. He's out of there. He's taking care of himself. He's got a look, he's a magician, taking his power back and leaving a situation that's left him impoverished or in exile. You know what I get when I go into his remote? Self-preservation. Strife, defending himself. He can't defend himself. Confusion. He has to. Look at this. Look at this. Stress, anxiety, confusion, doesn't know how to defend himself, doesn't feel that, is confused about options. He comes to the difficult decision that he must save himself. Everyone's leaving this. Look at this. Tied in knots. The ethos. Oh my God. Oh, what horrible cards. Thief. He is not going to cooperate. He is not going to cooperate if he can help it. He does not want to be involved with this president anymore. He wants to distance himself from this. And this is somebody who, I got to do a clarification, but he's not going to be supporting this president for much longer. In fact, because this is somebody who's going to take care of themselves. Oh, God. He has no choice. He has no choice. He has to testify. He has to give a deposition. He has to say what happened. He has to hang this situation up. He has to move on because it's going to go from bad to horrible to worse. He has no choice other than to walk away. He has no choice other than to save himself. Those are really easy cards to read. Can you believe that? All right, let's look at Jared. This is why I love blitzes. You just go with your gut. You just boom, 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 and you just move on. What's going on with Jared? Thank you, GL Maley. I think about all human beings too. I was thinking about the name Archie, the name of Meghan and Harry's child, and it almost seemed like I thought, oh, like Archie Bunker. It was almost like an inside joke that they got married and they named their kid after Archie Bunker. Wouldn't that? It kind of made me chuckle. Okay, Jared. It's the same base card. Look at this. Saving himself. Going it alone. Everybody's taking care of themselves. Look at this deal. Time is running out. Everybody, they're all lawyered up. Fear of incarceration. I think he'll stay as long as he can, but the Knight of Pentacles is moving into the sixth house. He's already spoken to the Justice Department. He's already spoken to the feds. He's already given depositions. He's making a decision. I think that he's going to say, I think he's going to get out of there and make a deal. 10 of Cups is the outcome with the Judgment card with Justice in the background. Queen of Pentacles in the third house can sometimes be a gossip. Fear of incarceration. It's over. Healing or offers. Worried about partnership with wife. Queen of Swords with the Two of Wands in the eighth house. Hope and fear, the wish with the 10 of Swords. A judgment. He's going to get out of this by the skin of his teeth, but I still think he might do jail time. All right, Bolton. Bolton wants protection. That's the first thing I'm hearing. He wants to know that there's no way, no how that they can get to him if he agrees to turn on the president. It's more that he wants legal assurance. It's going to be with Bolton. I don't do Melania, sorry. She asked me not to. When I did a remote viewing, she asked me not to. So I have to respect that. Bolton. Everybody takes care of themselves. Everybody's getting magician. Me. Take care of myself. He wants to he will agree to testify against Trump if he is given protection. he has some damning information about this president, and he will be allowed to do he's allowed to do a private deposition and give information, or a private, something about this will be private, and then he wants to put it behind him. It's really about protecting himself. And he wants, it's all about, he wants to make sure that he's not going to get into any legal trouble because he's claiming he has nothing to do with this. Yeah, there you go. 5 of Pentacles, and this, again, to leave a situation that has you in exile, a situation that has you impoverished, moving on. Yeah. So he's all about agreeing to testify. He's all about agreeing to corroborate what they're saying, which would get him convicted, which would get Trump basically impeached. He just wants to know that he's going to be legally protected if he does so. So for Bolton, it's a question of being legally protected against any kind of revenge on the part of Trump supporters or Trump or his administration. That's basically what I'm getting from Bolton. If he can have that assured, then he would like to go in, give his testimony, and then just leave and get on with his life. That's kind of how he feels about it. All right. How we doing, everybody? Yeah, I think he is going to open the floodgates. The ship already sunk. That's very true. Giuliani. God, what a mess. I think a lot of people in New York, we talked about Little Putin Island and corruption in New York, and how what was happening with the mafia is that they were collecting dirt on people of interest in New York. And one of the people that they had dirt on was the state attorney general, who had been accused of multiple cases of sexual assault, including strangling women, etc. So Trump had dirt on him that Trump got from Pecker. The mafia had dirt on the attorney general. So the attorney general buried cases because certain criminal persons had the dirt on the attorney general. So then when the attorney general was outed for these alleged cases of sexual assault, they went in and they were able to uncover all these people that were basically compromising, blackmailing the attorney general of New York. And one of those people was Trump, but that Trump was not the only person. In the middle of all that creepy, you have Giuliani, and Giuliani appears to have been compromised also by the mob, but he's also, it's weird. You see these people, they're compromised, but then they're also working with the mob. So that's kind of how it looks with Giuliani. Let's check and see if Kavanaugh is going to be removed. Yes, Joel, I think that's exactly, it's about the Little Putin Island and the people that were blackmailed and bribed, and it goes all the way to DC, and it's very painful and it's very embarrassing, and it's going to go from bad to worse to a nightmare by February. That's how it feels. Kavanaugh. What's going on with Kavanaugh? He really likes RBG. It's a little in awe of her, ironically enough. I don't think that Kavanaugh takes any responsibility for his behavior when he was drunk at parties. His argument is that everybody was drunk and everybody did crazy things, and dragging out what he did when he was drunk at a party, 30 years ago is unfair because everybody was drunk. The boys were drunk, the girls were drunk. And so as far as Kavanaugh is concerned, he doesn't have to take responsibility in his mind for any mistakes that he or anybody else made 30 years ago. For the time being, I think he's okay, but there's a 7 of Cups moving in. He feels that he's safe for now. I'm sorry to say, Ace of Swords. He feels that things are getting better rather than worse for him. He feels that the problems of this administration have nothing to do with him. He feels that he's going to get more comfortable with his position on the Supreme Court the longer he's there, and he's really just committed to learning as much as he can about the Constitution and how to and what's expected of him on the bench, because the final outcome is the Hierophant. I think his marriage is in serious trouble. At this time, I do not see Kavanaugh removed. I don't see that in his head. He's throwing himself into his duties, and he really is throwing himself into constitutional law and understanding how the Supreme Court works. The only negative aspect of this is that I think his marriage may come to an end. His marriage doesn't look too good. But he feels also that whatever happens with this president or mistakes this president made, he feels pretty much protected that it's not going to impact his work on the bench. That may not be what people want to hear, but that's how it presents in the cards. All right, are we done? Did everybody have fun? Are we done? That's right, Cheryl. He doesn't think there's anything wrong. He thinks that everybody was drunk, everybody was being silly, and lots of people in college get drunk and do silly things, and why should I be any different? And I'm buffering. Can people still see me? Okay, it says, okay, I'm all right. All right, what's going on with Don Jr.? It's getting exciting again. I was getting bored, but now I'm excited again. Don Jr. I do feel kind of bad for him. Oh, he's traveling. Something is ending. Something can't get off the ground here in the United States. It's like doors are closing for him. People don't want to deal with him. Doors that were once open to him are now closing. He's starting to see a change in terms of how people are treating him in the GOP. He's looking at his contacts overseas. He's thinking, I don't know if he's gotten married again, but there's something about a potential marriage and his political future. He's looking at his political future and thinking about how his girlfriend would be as a first lady. I mean, sorry, but that's what it looks like. Yeah, it's about him thinking about getting married and then about him moving. There's a potential move here. And concerns about money, concerns about making money. But what's interesting about his card chart is that people are souring on him in the GOP, and he's kind of having trouble dealing with that a little bit. But yeah, he does have fantasies about marrying his girlfriend and her being the first lady and him being a president. And But what is starting to show up in his cards is that the GOP doesn't show up at his rallies. They also don't return his phone calls. So there's a little bit of a distancing starting to happen. And yeah, so that's the one thing that's he's starting to cope with. All right, I think we're done. I don't know. Thank you, Noel. Did any of the moderators have a question for me before we close out today? Roger Stone is really a sad person who should probably make a deal because he lives in a fantasy world. That's the best way to describe what it's like to remote view him. I feel like I'm in a perpetual theater. It's pretty crazy. Kavanaugh, I just saw him really inspired by RBG and really throwing himself into understanding constitutional law and feeling like whatever happens with this president is not going to have an impact on him. All right, I was asked by Noel to check out Nancy Pelosi, and since she is the moderator extraordinaire, it's the least we can do for her. Spirit, what can you tell us about Nancy Pelosi? Nancy Pelosi. Same damn bases every time, walking away, coming into her power, doing her job. She always presents as someone who's just doing her job. She feels that she's done very well. She's doing a really good job at bringing the community together. She feels that that the Democrats are together. They're strong. They're unified. There's a feeling of unity within the party right now. That she has been very good at communicating with her party, and that everybody's on the same page. This is the investigation going into a new phase. The focus is away from her and towards Trump. She is being asked to negotiate some situation about a possible resignation with a 5 of Swords walking away from a battle that can't be won, falling straight on the King of Swords. I think she is privy to private meetings with the intelligence agencies and with the government regarding secret deals about Trump. And they're very, very hush-hush and very private. And she could help negotiate a resignation for this president. Wow. Interesting. Nancy does have it. Biden, my concern about Biden and Sanders is that they're both aging really, really rapidly, and I don't see them being able to do 4 years, let alone 8 years, which leaves us with the two below that, which would be Warren and Buttigieg, and figuring out whether or not they want to be a team of rivals, which I think would work, or whether or not they want to pick somebody else to run with. And Kamala Harris is going to get behind Biden. That's what I think, in exchange for becoming AG or VP. But I think she'd be better suited to be AG. All right, thanks everybody. Thank you for coming in and hanging with me. This was a lot of fun. We did an hour, so I think it's time for us to close. If you're trying to get in for a reading, I do have some openings this week. I go back to work on Tuesday, and I'll be working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. they're phone readings. If you're outside the United States, then you can download the WhatsApp, or we can do Zoom. Just send me an email at whimsyanderson@gmail.com if you are out of the country, so that we can make other arrangements. Thanks for watching, everybody, and thanks for the support. And I hope everybody had a really happy Halloween. Thank you to the moderators who allow me to do this feed and make it so easy for me. Noelle, and Boz, wherever she is. You folks rock, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. Peace out. Love and light. Everybody good? All right. Thanks. Bye.